Okay, so I'm here today with Tortoise, the creator of Murderledger.
Hey,
Alright, Tortoise, would you like to introduce our website to us?
yeah, so this is Murderledger. It's really just a passion project, kind of an educational project for me. It started out with me wanting to basically have a kill board similar to Albion's kill board, but just have it be kind of more performant and a little bit easier to like quickly view a player's kill history. And then over time it evolved to also including a lot of stats. It's sort of more focused toward the stats are more focused toward 1v1 corrupted dungeon play, but there's a lot of opportunities for cool features to add with all the data that we're collecting.
Let's start with the build stats and let's talk about all the different features that's on your website. Let's start with the build
Right.
stats. So the build stats you said is it's all about 1v1s right now.
Yeah, for now, you've got the data set drop down here, and you can pick. Right now, there's three different data sets, all related to corrupted
Mm-hmm.
dungeons, Stalker, Slayer, and then high rank. So, but essentially, what we're doing here is just pulling, all the data about all the kills that happen in corrupted dungeons, and kind of just giving you the raw stats. So it lets you really see what's popular over the last 7 days. It lets you see what the top ranked players are playing. It lets you see you can look at Stalker and see what what the majority of players are playing, and kind of get an idea for, you can filter it down by weapon as well, and kind of get some ideas maybe for how you want to play your weapon.
Mm-hmm. Um, I guess we should talk about the high rank.
Right. So there is we do track we'll get to the leaderboard later, but
We can talk about it now.
we have kind of a separate ranking system from the infamy system in game. Murder Ledger doesn't have access to the player's infamy, but we do know if it was a 1v1 in a corrupted dungeon, and so we basically have our own separate MMR or ELO system to track ranking. And the basic idea is, everyone starts around 1,000 with around 1,000 points, and when you beat somebody, you get points, and if you lose points, and the amount you gain or lose kind of depends on the discrepancy in the player's current rating. So if you beat somebody that's way higher ranked than you, you'll get a whole lot of points. And it does have a slight bias for your IP. So if you beat somebody with much higher IP than you, you'll also take a few more points from them.
Okay. And this system only tracks kills, right? It doesn't track crystals.
Right, yeah. We don't have a way to know about crystal breaks right now,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just looking at kills. And one cool thing about this leaderboard is that you can filter it by weapon and kind of see, okay, what is the player who plays this weapon the most? How do they play it? What build are they using? And there's a little caveat here with the little icon by the person's name. It's based on the weapon they've used the most in the 1v1s for, I think, the last couple of weeks, something along those lines. So if somebody hops weapons a lot, it could be a little bit inaccurate. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of players at the top are, sticking with one weapon.
Let's see who the best daybreaker right now is. Oh, it's Dendu, man. Cool.
By quite a bit too.
Yeah.
He's actually
160.
rank 2 overall right now.
Yep.
That's also my weapon. I enjoy Daybreaker.
Oh, I like seeing this. Espalijo. This is one of my viewers who does my who joins me all the time for watch my viewers on Sundays and
Oh,
paintball
very
too.
nice. Oh, he streams in Discord for you?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then this little distribution graph right here. Um, the numbers on here is
Yeah, so it's showing you how many players. I think it's in increments of like 10 ELO at a time or 10 points at a time, but it shows you how many players have that ranking essentially. So
okay.
you see the huge cluster around 1,000, which is what you start at the first time you play a corrupted dungeon, and yeah, it's pretty concentrated around there. It falls off pretty quickly. Part of that's because the loose matchmaking in
Right.
corrupted dungeons. if top players always fought other top players, I think it would allow them to, you'd see like a more distributed curve of
Mm-hmm.
rankings. So that's kind of, it is what it is due to how the system works. But that kind of lets you see where you're at compared to, the other players.
Huh.
Oh, clear the Daybreaker weapon.
Ah, okay. So there I
There you
am.
go.
And
Pretty good
rating
for a
is
new account.
right.
So, yeah, 1400. So that's actually very high. Like if you look at the distribution, it's like there's not a ton of players who have higher rank than that.
Mm-hmm. They're 1440. So this the numbers here, that's the 102. There's actually whoever is between 1420 and 1460, or
That would be between.
no,
It should be between 1440 and 1450. There's 100 people with that, with rating between that
okay,
10 points.
okay. So it's just like 10 above whatever I moused over.
One thing that I'd like to add in the future is some kind of seasons for the leaderboard. This leaderboard currently is just ongoing, kind of since the website was released, since the leaderboard was added early this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's changed a lot over time through the different metas. You'll see different weapons come to the top, but I think it would be cool to have a kind of a reset and some kind of season system, and then archive the leaderboards. That way you could have a goal. You could set a goal like, okay, at the start of the season I want to try to get this ranking, and you could look through the past and see what the different metas were at different points in time.
Mm-hmm. So I was looking at this ladder board the other day. I was thinking, okay, this is better than Infamy as a ladder board because it doesn't, like, Infamy is a stat that you can grind without PvPing at all. You can just ride all the time and keep climbing.
Right.
Here you have to kill someone to climb, but
That's correct. Yeah.
at the same time, I think like part of the reason why I'm like so high up right now is because I'm just farming new players. Right? I'm just farming people in
Yeah,
stalkers.
that is a good point. And there's a pretty big difference between the kind of players that you'll encounter in Stalker versus Slayer.
Mm.
Um, for the most part. So there has been people have asked for a separate leaderboard for Stalker and Slayer, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a good idea. So that might be something we would add in the future.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's the ladder board. We were talking about the build stats and how.
Right. So high rank build stats. So
Right.
these are currently pulling the top 500 players, and it's pulling any fight that one of those top 500 players was in, and then presenting the stats here. So for some lesser played weapons, or lesser played builds, I should say, it may just be one player. Since there's only 500
Right.
in this top, it may be one player playing that build, but you can still see for the ones that have 700 usages, there's obviously quite a few more people playing that build.
Yeah. So that's also the reason why these win rates are so crazy high, right? Because
Yeah, exactly.
we have a black hand build here with 90% win rate, but
Yeah,
only 52 usages. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you have to keep in mind this. This isn't just the build stats for this high rank means that one of the players was high rank. Not
Right.
that both players were high ranked. So yeah, the builds that you'll see in here are all going to have probably pretty high win rates because all of the players who are high rank are winning 90% of their matches.
Yeah, and this is a lot of times it's like a very experienced players, kind of just farming people, even if it's
Yeah.
in Slayer, right? So they're kind of
Yeah.
just farming
So
kills.
I guess what that kind of says is that this data set right here doesn't really tell you much about like I guess you can't read too much into the win rate. It more tells you what's popular among what builds those players are playing the most.
Yeah, what builds those
Um,
top players are playing the most.
yeah, exactly. It would be nice to maybe add another data set that's only top players versus other top players, and that would give you more of a feel for how the actual matchup's working or how well that weapon actually performs at a top level.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and the high rank last 7 days, this data set includes both Stalker or Slayer, or does it only include Slayer?
Right, it's everything because, like we said before, the leaderboard currently doesn't differentiate between Stalker or Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
any corrupted dungeon match is counted towards your MMR. So yeah, this is well, okay, I may be wrong about that actually. I believe it does. I believe this data set also has an IP check on it. So
Oh, okay.
I think, yeah, because if you look at the average IPs
The
for the
average
builds,
IP.
they're all high. So yeah, this data set is high IP and high rank players.
I see. So the lowest here I see is probably this one, 1295. That's not a Slayer. That's not a soccer player,
Right.
right? So okay, so it is basically Slayer only then.
Slayer, yeah, Slayer high rank, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, let's go to the weapon matrix.
Yeah.
So this one I was looking at the other day, and some of the numbers were kind of didn't make sense to me. I mean,
Yeah.
not initially at first, but I guess
Mhm.
like after a while, I could make sense of it. Um,
Right.
Namely stuff like this one right here, how like regular bows should have a 22% win rate against Blightstaff, and
Yeah.
like
And I think the reason for that
Mhm.
discrepancy between what you expect and what you see is that these are kind of just the raw numbers, not the theory behind it. So
Mhm.
you can't rely on this too much because this really is just statistics. Like what Pew Pew would say is that a Regibo shouldn't be losing to a a Blightstaff, right?
Right.
In theory, but the reality is that there's a lot of newbie players playing regular bow that do
Right.
lose to Blightstaff. So yeah, so this you have to kind of take this for what it is. It's really just the raw statistics. It's not telling you that that weapon is
Mhm.
better or not in theory.
Yeah, so like I think like a lot of people would look at this and be like, "Oh, this is a really good idea for like seeing what counters what in corrupted dungeons, right?"
Yeah,
Um,
and that to be honest, yeah, it is misleading because that was my original intention. But
mhm.
at the end of the day, it's just the stats, and maybe we could add a data set under the weapon matrix similar to what we were talking about, where we only show uh, players of a certain rank where the matchup is even in MMR, and
Mhm.
then it might give you a better idea for the actual
And I think
the weapon's actual matchup.
yeah, the rest of the build is very important too, right? Because I was talking about it the other day. So like regular bow should be able
Right.
to counter Blight, but if you're running Guardian Boots and Hellion Hood with it, then
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were considering adding a page where you could kind of just see just a stream of all events. Um, I wasn't too sure of the usefulness of it, but that would be one use case for that is that you could kind of verify these numbers. So you could, if you had that page that just had a list of all events, you could filter it to this particular matchup and then actually see those events and see what builds people were playing and
Mhm.
maybe like get a better understanding
Mhm.
of why that number is what it is. But for now, yeah, just take it sort of with a grain of salt, or understand that it's statistics and it's not really the theory of the
Mhm.
matchup.
Another thing, I guess this should go back to the build stats. Is a lot of new players especially, they come to my stream and they ask me like, is there a website where you can see, uh, where we can find like good builds for corrupted dungeons? And a lot of my other viewers would just tell them, hey, go to Murderledger. Um, but then like when we come here and we look, it's like you can't really just copy like whatever has the highest win rate in here, right? Because
Yeah, not really.
yeah, because we
um,
like for a new viewer they have to be, or for a new player they have to actually like know what they're looking at, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think like it comes down to again, it's more statistics, and I think it is a good place to come and look for ideas, and
Mm-hmm.
you can see what's popular and maybe even try to like have a counter for what's popular. Um, and also personally, I think using the leaderboard is actually also a good way to find builds. So like if you want to play a certain weapon and maybe you want to
Mm.
be serious about it, you could do what you just did with the Daybreaker, for example. Like say, okay, who's the top Daybreaker player, and then what build does he play? And we'll get to the Twitch integration later, but it's even better if you can find one of these top players who's playing a certain build, like Jocko right here.
Oh.
and maybe you could actually find some of his fights that are streamed and see how he plays it and learn how to play the build.
Now, actually, he's got a little Twitch button here. Can I click that? Oh, it just takes him
Yeah,
to.
it'll take you to his channel, which is
Whoa,
deleted.
whoa! Did he just get banned or something?
He may have changed his Twitch name.
Oh, that's
Um,
right.
yeah, it may be that it doesn't redirect anymore from his old Twitch name.
I see. Oh, speaking of Twitch, how do you link your Twitch to Murderledger?
Right. So there's a Discord link if you go to the homepage at the bottom, and you can hop in the Discord. There's a channel for Twitch link request, and you just give your Twitch channel name and your Albion in-game name, and I can set up that link. And you can also, if you're like a viewer of another streamer who streams Corrupted Dungeons, you can request the link for them, and I'll add it. Um, yeah, and essentially once they're linked, then whenever they're streaming and they get a kill or they die, um, we we use the Twitch API to find the VOD, the current VOD, and then we offset the timestamp into the VOD based on when that kill happened. So it basically will just give you a link you can see on on this VODs page. These are all fights from anyone who was streaming, and you can click the Twitch link and find see that fight.
Yeah, so this is like the coolest feature I think on this website, and you can filter here to
By weapons,
yeah,
right? Yeah, or
by fight
1v1.
size, 1v1s, right? And then we can
Yeah.
do.
And if you're struggling in a matchup with your weapon, you can use this to try to find matchups and kind of see maybe see how some player who's streaming it, how do they handle a certain matchup and learn from it.
Right. So let's say black hands are giving people a lot of people trouble right now, right? So if you don't like black hands, you can say Grita who died on black hands. We can click on that and see how that happened. Um, the only thing about this is though is it has a tendency to um, you said it was like 30 seconds, right? Like sometimes it will
Right.
go in on a fight right as
As it's
it's
ending.
about to end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get some spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know how long the fight went on for, so it moves back 30 seconds before the kill event, before the SBI's API says the kill event happens. And then usually it's not quite 30 seconds because there's some delay on the Twitch stream that's unaccounted for. So yeah, you have to rewind it a little bit if there's a longer fight to see the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Wow, did we just cover everything? That was
Almost
quick.
everything. Yeah, I think the only other thing is like the original feature that kind of the original motivation for Murderledger, which was the player search and player history. So you can, there's type ahead completion. You can search for a player in the top right or from the homepage, yeah.
Oh, right here.
And find a player, and then on here it's easy to see, what they're currently playing, what their recent, the recent matchups. You can also filter the weapon. You can filter both this player's weapon and the opponent's weapon. So you can find like your matchups versus, you can find specific instances of different matchups you had. Yeah, so if you wanted only your black hands fights or yeah, whatever particular weapon, or oh yeah, the opponent weapon. Yeah, if you wanted to see like, you could kind of see how you've been doing against a certain weapon. Yeah, blight stash. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yep. So that's kind of like the main ledger, I guess, for viewing a player's history. And this isn't just Corrupted Dungeons. You can filter the fight size on here to, 1v1. We try to extract 5v5s as well and 2v2s.
Uh-huh.
And then ZVZ. There's some kind of looseness with how accurate those labels are. It's a little bit hard to know for sure exactly what the fight was, but yeah, little healer's a player who does a lot of 2v2s, right?
Yeah. Did I type his name wrong? Little healer?
Yeah, it looks like that's it right there.
Okay, and we can do battle size 2v2s.
Yep.
There we go.
And for 2v2s, there's even another tab next to the ledger tab up here where you can specifically see 2v2 stats. You can see what partners you play with the most, yeah, what weapon pairs you use the most, and then the history of the actual 4 players that were in each fight.
Oh, you can see their win rates up here too with different people.
Yep, for the last 30 days. Yep. And then beyond that, there's some basic stats for the player. So, last 30 days, what's the most commonly used weapon? Kind of what's your KDA with that weapon? This again is not specific to corrupted dungeons. It's just in general. So you can see Little Healer obviously plays healer a lot and has 372 assists on his holy staff there. And then builds, same idea, except it shows the full builds, so you can kind of see what over the history. You can also change it to all time if you want to see, okay, what person does this build play, or what build has this person played the most throughout their entire career. At least this is since the website launched.
Right, and that was what, a year ago, you said?
It was actually the beginning of this year.
Oh, so
beginning of 2021. Yeah.
Okay, so 9 months ago.
Yeah. I think it actually says at the top, data collection began when you pick all time. It says,
Okay. And then matchups.
Right. So the matchups 1v1. That is a bit like the weapon matrix.
It doesn't have any info on it. I guess it doesn't play corrupted.
He doesn't play 1v1 or corrupted. Okay. So
I'll show me then. Beast, 69k.
Yeah, and there's probably an adjustment that could be made here. It trims out a lot of stuff because it says we think, there's not enough instances of the matchup, which happens on the weapon matrix page as well. But I think it could be changed for this page to just show all matchups, regardless of if there's only one fight. Still show it in here. But
what did you say the current threshold is? Like,
I believe it's 10. If you mouse over the percentages, it should tell you it's actually only 7. So maybe what's the one on the broadsword? What's that number?
There should be more. 12.
It may be like 5. I'd have to double check that to know for sure. Yeah, it may be like about 5 matchups before it shows on here. Okay. And that's only looking at the past 1,000 fights.
Okay.
That's Murderledger. It's, like I said, is mainly an educational project. It's open source. If you're a developer, you can take a look at it and see if there's anything you could contribute or want to add to it.
Oh yeah, you can show the source codes here.
Yep. Whoa. We've had one contributor who actually the ELO distribution chart that you were looking at on the leaderboard. That was another contributor added that. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and there's honestly lots of opportunities, lots of ideas people have had for different features. It just takes time to add that sort of thing. But there's lots of cool stuff we could do with the data.
All right. So, your ads.
Ads?
Yeah, your ads.
Oh, the ads, right. So it does have ads. I didn't want to add them originally. They're kind of icky to have ads, but it has worked out pretty well. It honestly just about pays the bill for the monthly bill for the hosting costs. So it's breaks even. So
okay.
That's the reason for the ads. The hosting does cost money, especially with, there's lots of events. I'm not sure what the amount per day is, but it's, tens or hundreds of thousands of these events per day. So it's a lot of data to store and manage.
The reason why I told you to mention the ads is because our one of our past websites, Albion Stats, main reason for it going down is because they didn't really generate enough revenue to keep up with the cost. So when you're using Murderledger, don't ad block us.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so that's it, right? Covered everything?
That's it.
All right, thank you for doing this interview with me.
Thanks, pewpew.
All right.